Up next, Matt and I are going to give our thoughts on Evil Dead Rise. We're just two OG Evil Dead fans who are going to give some honest opinions on what may be.
Just leave it alone.
Welcome back to 4K Kings. I am Matt.
I am Russ.
And you are here with us today on the only channel to come for physical media, movie reviews, and so much more. And this week, Russ, we're going to be reviewing Evil Dead Rise. And pretty soon it's going to be coming out on 4K Ultra HD. And we talked about this movie kind of briefly when we discussed its 4K Steelbook. And at the time, neither of us had seen it. And we basically were just commenting on what we thought the movie probably was. And some of the thoughts that we gave weren't necessarily glowing. And we got a few comments just basically saying it sounded like we were two old men just yelling at clouds, and that's just not cool.
I've always thought you have to meet in the middle. As I age, I don't want to be one of those people who yells at clouds and just hates everything. But I also don't want to become a person who just accepts whatever is spoon-fed to them. I mean, you have to be able to call out something that's bad when it's bad. And you can't just okay boomer your way out of it. But going into something with negative intentions isn't healthy. But in my opinion, the opposite way is just as detrimental. We're not going to get any good movies if we just keep saying like, hey, all these great remakes, reboots, retreads are awesome. They're not. Before we actually get into the review, I think it's important to at least know a couple of things. And one is I will definitely admit I tend to dislike sequels like in general. Which is ironic because Evil Dead 2 is in my top 5. I also tend to roll my eyes when properties just become like content and things that get just like stuffed into a meat grinder just to kind of like feed the masses. And that's where I think you and I differ. I tend to be more forgiving once it's become content, once it's become a property. I'm going in fully aware that there are numerous video games now, a television show, another reboot. It's not just Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness anymore. Yeah. This is about a world. Are you so mad that it's a world now that you can't judge this film on its own merits? I think that's where it gets dicey. The question. I knew in order to try to not just be a downer the whole time, I would have to go into it feeling like this isn't an Evil Dead movie. Like I just want to go in and like remove that from me and just say, okay, I want to go in and try to enjoy this thing for what it is and not pick it apart because it's not what I want an Evil Dead movie to be. So as far as the review is concerned, I think we want to try to break it down into two parts. One that is objective and it's based on whatever merit it might have, whatever likes or dislikes we have, etc. And then kind of tell you my true feelings and maybe Russ's true feelings as well about how it fits into the Evil Dead world, which probably will veer off into yelling at clouds territory, in some people's opinion.
Be nice or you don't get a gift.
And as far as what our channel is or any opinion review related channel, I'm not interested in being objective. I want to yell at the clouds, dude. Like, let's yell, baby. Anybody can be objective about this.
Well, before we jump into the review, I do want to just give a little bit of context about this movie, just so we kind of can understand why we're even here, what has even brought us to this point, what we're even talking about. This movie obviously came out this year. It was directed by this guy, Lee Cronin, about two estranged sisters trying to save their family from the Deadites. This Lee Cronin, this is only his second film, and he's an Irish director, and his first movie was an Irish film called The Hole in the Ground, which I remember seeing a trailer for. I never saw the movie, but thought it was, atmospheric, creepy, whatever, but it didn't really catch my interest to go and watch it. This movie is the 5th installment of the Evil Dead series, and it's starring, from what I gather, basically an unknown cast. Like, I didn't really know many of these people from any other movies. To rewind 10 years, the Evil Dead remake came out in 2013. On the heels of that, I don't know how you say his name, Fede, Mr. Alvarez, the plan was for him to make Evil Dead 2. That was absolutely the plan. Right after the fact, he was going to go and do a remake of Evil Dead 2 to follow his Evil Dead 1 remake. And then, at the same time, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell were going to make Army of Darkness 2. He was going to direct it, he was going to write it, and then after that movie was done, there was in their minds, again, going back to this whole MCU thing, there was going to be a 7th movie, Evil Dead movie, that merged the two universes together. The remake universe and the universe where Bruce Campbell sort of inhabits it.
Well, that's just what we call pillow talk, baby.
I would have liked that, honestly.
Well, that was the plan. And obviously that got
not liked it, but kind of like what we just talked about. If this is going to exist, I like that plan.
Yeah, do something along those lines.
I actually enjoyed that remake. I'm a fan of it.
Okay.
I don't hate the Evil Dead 2012.
Okay. I turned it off in 20 minutes.
You're just a fucking coward.
Obviously, that whole plan of all these universes merging got completely scrapped. And the Army of Darkness 2 script, ideas, all those types of things became the Ash vs. Evil Dead television show. And that obviously went on for however many, 5 seasons or something. So then in 2019, as that show's wrapping up, that Bob Tappert guy, who was very much so involved, him and the gang tapped this Lee Cronin dude to say, hey, we saw what you did. We really liked it. We want you to take on our Evil Dead Rise film. This movie was initially only meant for streaming, Russ. That was a big deal back then. It's streaming only. Let's get it in streaming. But then it had some solid test screenings, and then they moved it to the theaters as a result. And it is the highest grossing film of the series with $133 million worldwide on a $15 million budget. Congratulations, which that means, as we all know, more are going to come.
Oh, this is what we're going to get. We're going to get this.
So let's just jump right into the review then, Russ. Now that we've kind of gotten all that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about it. I'd like to give, like I said, sort of this objective kind of take first. It was a very fast movie. It felt like a sizzle reel for special effects or for gore or for something. It just seemed like this wasn't a movie.
The intro, the beginning scene, do you know how it kind of ties into the end? I realized, wow, they don't trust the audience. They don't trust the audience. We had to have some outburst of violence in the first 2 minutes. We don't trust you to set up our characters.
Yeah.
Now, in a way, they were probably wise because these characters are fucking terrible.
That is the common denominator also, and I feel like modern horror movies where there's an intro sting to like really jolt you in the first, like even trailers do it. Like if you ever watch a trailer on YouTube, there's 10 seconds of like a mini trailer, and then the trailer, it's like, let me like pull you in and get you off your phone.
You know what the trailer's biggest mistake though was? It didn't feature a classic pop song and a down key female singing. Yeah. Or just some like,
why is that the trend? That trend.
That's the problem. It's just I'm bored of these fucking tropes, and everybody's too scared to venture further and get away from them.
It sounds like we already hate this movie, but I do want to say...
This is our objective take.
I know. But I want to say, before we go any further in any criticisms, can we just linger for a second on anything that we may have liked?
I liked the lead. I liked her. I thought given a better script and better writing and a better film, it could have worked.
Really?
I actually like the main red-haired actress, and it's interesting that she becomes the main villain, and she's the one that's on all the promotional materials.
I disagree with you there. I think she was cast because she looks
creepy.
little off.
I don't think I've ever seen them have the main villain be the promotional materials. Like, you're coming to see this woman be scary, not Bruce Campbell fight the scary thing.
Again, a big difference. You said the main villain. When the fuck does Evil Dead have a main villain? It should be Deadites. It should be a whole thing.
An army.
But it's just her.
I like the location.
I don't at all.
I thought it's interesting.
Dude, what was interesting? It might as well have been in the cabin. You don't see anything. You don't go out of this building. You're only in their apartment or in the hallway. It might as well have been in the cabin.
And I think that's sort of what I'm trying to say as far as objectives concerned. Imagine it's not an Evil Dead movie and it's just this happening in this apartment building. I thought the setting of it was nice. So now that we've been really positive about the things we liked in this movie, let's talk about some of the things we didn't like. I just felt like it was very by the numbers. It doesn't benefit from having the Evil Dead name at all. Like there's nothing, it could be any generic, modern, gruesome horror movie that you see anywhere these days. Like it didn't affect me at all.
And it's funny because I recognize there are scenes of intent, like tons of blood, violence, etc.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It didn't land. It felt safe.
There really is no weight to the film. By the time it's over...
I forgot it, like damn near immediately.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, no joke. I had to go back and rewatch it before meeting with you.
Yeah. And that's, to me, not just a criticism of this movie, but all modern horror in general just leaves me that way. Like, when it's over, it's like junk food. I just forgot it.
It's sad to me because there's two styles of horror films that exist now, and it's what you're describing, and then it's A24. Mm-hmm. And there's no in between. It's either a lofty puzzle or it's insulting my intelligence. Can't we get something in between? It doesn't need to be this extreme of I don't understand what's going on versus Jesus Christ, I can see what's coming a mile away. You know?
You mentioned the characters, which are predominantly the kids. There's like the one adult aunt or whatever, but mainly it's kids that are this cast, and I don't know. I just can't stand any of them.
It's true.
They all suck. I mean, that's the thing with modern horror movies too. Like every kid sucks. It's like they're stereotypical of what a teenager should be, which makes them unlikable. There's like nothing sweet about it. It's like, oh, there's the incorrigible, angsty teen again. It's like I hate that character.
I think you're being too specific, though. I wouldn't relegate that to the kids. Every family in every movie now is fucking miserable. Yeah. Every character in this movie was miserable.
Yeah.
Everyone had problems in this movie. Everyone's crying in this movie. Dude, in that last Scream movie I watched, everyone's crying the entire time. Yeah. Dude, that stupid Jurassic World movie. Yep. It's like there was a whole reference in there about the kids' parents getting divorced. We don't even see these kids' parents. It had nothing to do with the plot at all. They don't even mention it at the end of the movie. Who cares? I don't need to hear all this misery in a movie with dinosaurs. I don't need to hear all this misery in a movie about zombies. What the am I watching?
Right.
A drama?
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
And that's the thing about the original Evil Dead. Not that you just don't hate the characters, but it's got Bruce Campbell in it, who is a force to be reckoned with the entire time. He's got it all as far as a leading man, as far as a guy that's getting the shit kicked out of him. He's a buffoon, but he's valiant, and he's a guy that you want to follow through.
Yeah.
None of the characters in any of this like stood out to me like this is the person running the show.
I'll take it a step further. He's not miserable.
Get the fuck out of my face.
He's not.
Nobody in those movies are miserable. Like, give me something to care about.
Yeah, I don't care about any of them. That's the other problem. And I think they really want you to care about the littlest child, like the little girl, and they really want you to care about the aunt. And to some degree, they probably want you to care, or at least hope, that the red-haired mom is going to like be saved or come out of it. They probably want that for you.
I didn't at all. I forgot it was the mom.
Thank you.
Even the little girl's not reacting as if it's like a real serious thing either. She doesn't feel like she's in peril. It's boring.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the little girl, I'm thinking of it as that, like, how is this girl emotionally even equipped to handle this fucking bloodbath that's around her? She's not even batting an eye, to the point where, like you said, if she was emotionally invested in what was going on around her, I would maybe care more, but because she's not scared, I don't give a
I think I peed my pants.
It makes no sense. Like, there are no stakes. Treat this shit seriously. Your entire family's about to get murdered.
You're gonna tell me she's gonna look at her mom covered in blood and be like, "Oh, mommy, I'm gonna let you back." It's like, what? Like, can you not be scared for 2 seconds, even in the most obvious time when you should be scared? You already kind of mentioned it a little bit, and that was like the beginning and the end sting. In the very beginning, you have a woman who is like sick in bed. Someone goes to check on her, whatever. She wakes up, she's a deadite, and she kills everybody there, and then she's like floating over the lake. It's in the trailer. That's not really the spoiler. But then at the end, what you realize is, oh, she's in this apartment building, and the demon, point of view thing like hits her right at the end. So it's like, oh, she's got the demon in her. Then she's going to go to the cabin and whatever. But you're trying to tell me this woman gets possessed in the apartment building, gets in a car, drives to the cabin, goes there, has fun with friends, then falls asleep, then wakes up and kills. That's not how the fucking shit works. That's not how this universe works. That doesn't even make sense for her to get it there.
Like I said, dude, it was an add-on. Not to mention, if this is Evil Dead Rise, right in the title, it's a play on words. We're sitting here, it's supposed to be in a high-rise building. We're taking Evil Dead into the city, only for it to end up at the end right back at the fucking cabin. Well, this could have been so much grander of an ending. Put it in the city, have it go, like, oh my God, that would have been incredible. Yes. Even if it didn't work, I would have appreciated, hey, you took that setting, you made something, you took it in a different direction, but you played it safe the entire goddamn time.
And are they insinuating that that's how it gets to the woods?
I think it's to kick off a universe, like you said. That will be something in a sequel.
Now that we've really broken that down as far as generically why we don't like it, I do want to add a couple of thoughts as to why I don't like this as an Evil Dead movie. And to whoever said that in the comments about yelling at clouds, I think this is going to be maybe where people might feel the same, or maybe there's some people out there that will feel the same way that we do. I don't know.
I think I already began yelling at those clouds,
you
man.
Did. We're already shaking our hands.
This has a huge following. It does. There's a lot of pressure on that. Hope and pray that we're going to live up to everyone's expectations.
One little piece of context, again, because this is the Evil Dead hater review. Evil Dead 2 is one of my top 5 films of all time. It's a great trilogy. It's fun. It's scary. It's a blend of both. And again, most sequels don't appeal to me. And the reason why they don't is because they either reinvent the tone, the characters or actors, are now, like I said before, they're all in on the magic. The story either just repeats what came before it, or it goes in a completely new direction. But that being said, in the hands of the right director, all of those elements I just mentioned can also be a positive thing. Like you said that before, like, why would I want the same movie again? I want it to go in a new direction.
Each Evil Dead film has changed has become a different bird.
And if you think about Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and Army of Darkness, they continue to go in new directions, but they're all great in the ways that they go there because there's still heart, there's still characterization, there's still weight, there's still an interesting plot and story, and a character that we really give a shit about.
It just didn't matter. We'll just get somebody younger.
No, the audience loves him.
And that's fine.
They want to see more of him.
Well, the number one reason why I hated this movie, Russ, in the Evil Dead universe, the tone of this movie, I absolutely did not like. Even though I dislike the Evil Dead remake, what props I will give it is this. It remade a movie in a modern and horror lens. It took this movie here and it said, I'm going to take these exact elements, this exact plot, everything kind of to do with what's going on here, maybe change slight things, but essentially I'm remaking this way. Do you want to see this movie in this version? Check this out. You want to see the older version? Here's this one. I can give it those props. You can get all the Evil Dead touchstones in a modern way, whatever. But Rise is that same tone, but it's its own thing, and I feel like that's why I hate it even more.
I disagree that Rise has the same tone as the reboot.
You think so?
It's closer. I get what you're saying. Evil Dead Rise fits more in with the reboot than it does the original 3, especially for the original Evil Dead. It didn't have the tone of Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness. Like, I could see it. I could feel it there a little bit.
Did you have fun with it?
Yeah.
Did you have fun with this?
No, there was nothing fun about this.
I never had
at
fun
all.
once. I know. It was like I was waiting for fun to happen, and I never felt good.
And I have to point this out. The detractors of the reboot, people like us who grew up on the original 3, the main criticism we had, it didn't have the humor.
With Evil Dead 2, when that came out, they wanted to make it look like it was a funny horror film.
The gore was there, the setting, the look. Like I said, I like that dude as a director.
Yeah.
It's well made. It's just there's no humor. You kept going in the opposite direction to piss off fans, I feel like. The humor of it was Three Stooges. Watch Evil Dead 2. When Ash is getting like flipping around, breaking plates on his head, all this stupid shit. Army of Darkness, it's slapstick.
Yeah.
I guess you can say I have a hand in it.
And it's like we've completely abandoned this.
Yep.
Why? That is such a staple of Evil Dead. Just don't call it Evil Dead.
Don't call it Evil Dead. Any younger audience that this movie's being geared to do not have the familiarity with the movies that we have. It's not name brand recognition for them unless they're thinking about the one from 10 years ago, which is still a long ass time. They're using that name to get me and you in there.
They got our money. You're absolutely right. They want us to hate watch it and they want the younger people to come and enjoy it.
So then we get in there and we're pissed off. But you know what they do, Russ? They give you them references, boy.
There's so many Easter eggs for fans.
Do you remember Henrietta's Pizza?
What?
I love the Henrietta Easter egg. There's a Henrietta Easter egg in there.
You don't remember that?
I was about to say, the only references I picked, obviously, Dead by Dawn.
I'll swallow your soul.
I didn't hear that. When did they say that?
Yep, there was an I'll swallow your soul in there. Someone ate an eyeball. Remember that?
No.
There was a chainsaw. When she picks that up, she says, come get some. Remember that?
Jesus Christ, dude. Are you on Wikipedia right now?
Come get some.
Do you remember the scene when the main character gets tied up by elevator cords instead of tree branches?
Yeah, I did.
And I have vines tattooed all over me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
When they're listening to those like vinyls, which I don't even think vinyls were out then when these recordings were being made, you know, like reciting the incantations
Demons
or whatever.
went into the vocal booth and shit.
like,
All right, take 2.
Who was pressing these things? Well, in conclusion, it's not a movie I loved.
This movie fucking sucks.
What? He's storming out. He's storming like he's 7 years old.
What are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here.
As an Evil Dead movie, I hate it. It shouldn't be called Evil Dead. They need to. It doesn't live in the same universe. It's its own thing. Can't Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell just make a new horror series?
This is part of movies dying. They won't get funded.
Yeah.
You need that you need that name brand recognition, man. Like I said, it's all fucked. Subscribe.
Out 4K, Ultra HD, coming soon. Evil Dead Rise. And if you like this review, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for listening to us rant. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't. If you don't, that's cool. Let us know that you don't. Let us know why. If you did, you're right. I think that turned out well. It was.
Yeah,
It was
you got a lot of gems.
It's pretty
to
negative.
pull from.